There we go. Hello. Okay. Welcome back. Hi, Pin Pin. Okay. Right. Welcome back. So, it's been an unusual week, and looks like I get to, I have a little block of time I get to stream again, so that's fun. Don't count on this happening every week. I honestly just never. Um, Let me see something real quick here.
Glimmers on my viewport glass, counting parsecs like the hours that pass. Dark matter rivers and nebulae veils taught me grace when the grab field fails. Throttle wide to the edge of belief, my compass set to the ache underneath. I'm the captain of this ghost light sea, charting stars where no one's guiding me. Galaxies whisper like sirens at night. I ride the void till it brings me light. Alone, but I'm never lost, just free.
Okay. All right. Right on. Yeah. So, yeah, not a normal day. Kind of my normal time. Hello to the person that just joined. Nice to see you. So this will not be a regular thing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna keep trying to go for my planned schedule for a couple of weeks, and if it continues to be super erratic, I'll just own it. Go back to what I used to say, which was it happens when it happens. I have no schedule. So, but we'll see. I'm not there yet. I still have faith I can fight the universe and actually have a consistent schedule eventually. So, I was thinking I would do something that I had mentioned, I don't know, another stream kind of a while ago, but it came up organically, like, I don't know, like an hour ago on the Discord. And I'm curious, I offered a suggestion, and it was basically what I had discussed a while ago. And I'm curious to try it out, see if it works. So, the question was, in this particular case, it was, can I basically evenly distribute a resource into multiple containers um, in vanilla? There was no restrictions on the question, but my first answer would be like, yeah, you can use this, you can write a script to do it, or there are scripts out there that will do it, like Izzy's inventory manager or whatever. But I think it can be done in pure vanilla using event controllers. So I wanted to try that, see if I can do that. Before I go any further, let's do a sound check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let's see if we can make this work. So first we need some resources. Whoa. Oh, damn it. Boop. Okay, so first we need a source. So here's a source. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to create a system that will evenly distribute, say, iron into multiple different containers. So we need some iron. Let's put, let's do iron ore. Let's do iron ore. We're going to fill this up. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to let's see. Set up a sort of a basic infrastructure sort of situation. Go. Okay, so here we go. We got some, somehow you're getting, we got resources on this side. And then over here is where we're going to split things. So let's build out the split, and let's try honestly, what are there, like eight basic resources? You get iron, nickel, and silicon, and that's the bottom tier. You have cobalt and magnesium, which is the middle tier. And then you've got silver, gold, platinum, uranium. That's 9 right there. And then there's other things like ice and all that. So let's do, I'm gonna do 5. Just I think that's reasonable. If it works for 5, it should work for 9. And I feel like anything more than that, it's just extra work and not actually extra testing anything extra. So what I'll do is I'll do this. I'll do 5. I'm gonna split this into 5, and then I'll have like a I won't say waste, but and everything else, right? So you know, maybe if the idea is like, oh, I want my gold, platinum, uranium, silver, and magnesium here, and then everything else goes to the like basic refineries or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So here we'll do this, and then this will be to the overflow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So let's start with sorters. And the little line, how I remember which way they go is the little lines on top indicate, they look like arrows to me. All right. And we'll put one right there. Cool. Right? Huh. Interesting. Okay. So here we go. So what I'm thinking, oh, I should have spread these out.
Fuel critical.
I was thinking I should have spread them out, and then I didn't, and now I'm paying for it. All right, and the reason I want to spread them out is because on each sorter, and I could have just added pipe, but I want to keep the design visually simple so it's easy to quickly see what's going on. There we go. Let's put the base down there. So we need sorters. There we go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to put a single cargo container on each one of these. And I'm not going to do anything here because this is basically going to be like whatever these are configured for, like to pass, this is going to be everything else. So however you want to do that, it doesn't matter. All right. So I've got a cache, I guess you could call it. And then I will drop in this one. Yeah. Here. event controller for each one. There. Oh, hello to the other person. Either the new person or the returning individual who was here earlier. Alrighty, so to start with, keep things organized, I'm going to turn the sorters off. And now I can add power so everything is working. So we will add... let's see. Let's just do... do this. And I'll keep it separated so I don't pollute the experiment. Uranium ingot. That looks like it should be enough. Alright, so everything is running. And the sorters are all off. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Is this... Alright, let's get the names all matching. That'll make keeping things organized a lot easier. 3, 4, 15, 5. Okay. And then I also want to name the event controllers. 1, 42. 3. Oh, I was already right. 4 and 5. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to set up these event controllers to each monitor their respective cargo container. So here, I'm just going to clean up these names a little bit. There's literally no other type of sorter, so conveyor sorter is a pointless name, and I don't care that it's an industrial sorter or not. Same here. All right, and this will be small. Wait a minute, did I not name these? 1, 2. Okay, I did. All right. The cargoes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute. Oh, this guy. Right. Are you 6? Sure are. Okay. So we're gonna call you excess. And I'm just not even gonna look at you. Okay. Right, hang on.
Fuel critical.
Meal pack. This one. Is this good? That's not what I wanted. Oh, that is what I wanted. Oh, I looked at the mushrooms and thought. Mushrooms. Okay. Right, so let's get these named. So this is small cargo 1, small cargo 2, number 3, 4, number 5. Naming is important. Naming gives you one less thing to keep sorted in your mind. I know a lot of people will say, I say I know it because I've heard it, it's been said to me many occasions. I've heard other people say it, seen it in other conversations, but like, well, I'm not dumb. I can see that a small cargo container is a small cargo. Like, why do I need to simplify the name? Or why do I need to number it? Or why do I need to make the numbers match? I'm smart enough to understand that. Yes. But when you're programming, which is basically what this is doing, or you're designing anything complex, the less mental processing you need to use just to maintain your current like understanding of the system, the more mental capacity you have available to figure out what you're trying to do. So if I have to remember 5 different little things about how these things are named or what order they go, like if this was like the event controllers were 1 2 3 4 5 and the card containers were 5 4 3 2 1 or A B C D E or whatever, like that just takes away from like, think of like a computer, it takes away from your RAM to figure out what you're trying to do. So the less you have to, it's like if you read a textbook, right? Some textbooks are written like crap, right? They're super high level language and they're all like everything is super qualified or hedged in what they're trying to say. They can't just come out and say 1 + 1 = 2. They'll be like, well, when you take a value that sufficiently approaches the value of 1 and then you increment that value by another value that sufficiently approaches the value of 1, then the result, and you know, in all cases that have been studied with no exceptions found to date, but we're still open to possibility, generally approaches a value that approaches 2. And it's like, what the fuck are you saying, right? Because you're spending all your time trying to understand the method of communication. You have no time, no capacity left to understand the actual message, which is 1 + 1 = 2. So that is kind of an extreme example, but that I think illustrates what I'm talking about here, where naming things helps. Naming things well helps. So this is cargo 1. This is event controller 1. I have to put 0 thought into knowing that, and that are all related somehow. So how are they related? I'm going to make my event controller monitor the cargo fill level. Oh, hello to the other person. Hi, Booze. What's going on, man? We're going to monitor the cargo field of small cargo number 1. Add. All right. Event controller 2 is going to monitor the cargo value of cargo 2. Yeah. Event controller 3 is going to monitor the cargo filled percentage of small cargo 3. And controller 4 will monitor cargo filled of cargo 4. And then event controller 5 will monitor the cargo filled percentage of small cargo 5. All right. Now, what are they going to do when they monitor this? So what they're going to do is they are going to say, when the cargo filled percentage is less than or equal to, let's say, 5%. Okay, it's a very small amount. When that is true, we are going to turn on the sorter, the associated sorter. We're going to turn that on. And when we're above 5%, we're going to turn it off. All right. We do that for all of these. So cargo controller 2, it's going to control sorter 2. It's going to turn it on.
Critical.
Off. Controller 3 will toggle sorter 3 on, off. Controller 4 will manage sorter 4 on and off. And then controller 5 will manage sorter 5 on and off. And I did not set the actual controllers other than the first one. So cargo fill percent equal to or less 5%. Number 2, and I don't think I can set all these the same. Oh, I can. Okay. So equal to or less 5%, and equal to or less 5%, equal to or less than 5%, and equal to or less than 5%. Cool. So my thinking is that this will now evenly distribute the materials in there to these 5 boxes, right? That's what I'm thinking. I do need to set up the sorters. So the sorters, you can't configure all these at once either, can you? No, cannot. So we're going to whitelist. Let's do. We're going to do iron ore because the idea is you have you don't need to do all this if you want. Iron goes there and nickel goes there and silicon goes there. And so I brought that up earlier and I shouldn't have. It's not relevant. The idea is you have the same ore and you want it evenly distributed. So we're going to do iron ore for all of these. Iron ore, whitelist. All right. Number 2, whitelist. Iron ore. There it is. Okay. Number 3. Whitelist that. Iron ore. And number 4, whitelist. RON, ore, add. And then number 5, we're going to whitelist. IRON. Here. Okay. So now it should work. So what's going on here is the containers are empty and the sorters are all off. Why is that? Well, this is something that tricks a lot of people. And that is they get confused thinking the event controller especially when you first configure it, it will check the current state, and it doesn't. It's named event controller, which means it only looks at events. An event is a change. So basically, event only happens when something changes and meets those conditions. So what we need to do to get all this working is simply turn all the sorters on. So let's do that. Sorter. I'm going to turn them on. And we may need to toggle on drain all, because if there's nothing on this side to pull the ore, nothing may flow. So that, yeah. So because I don't have anything like a refinery or anything that's trying to pull ore, I can just tell the sorter to do it itself by turning on drain all. So now, there we go. 1,000. Is that right? Is that working? It is 1,000 even. Is that 5% of 15? It's not. It's more. 10% would be 1,500. So 5% would be 750. So it's high. So this one, also at 1,000. So what I think is going on here is the it's not precise, especially for very small numbers, and that is because with the sorter trying to drain all, the sorter's internal capacity is going to fill up, right? And then when it clicks on, because the cargo is low, everything in the sorter will flow through before it gets turned off again. So it's not a perfect system. If this percentage is critical, this may not be a perfect system exactly as is, or it may, and it may work better if I actually have something else pulling resources as opposed to the sorter pulling. So maybe I'll try that. Let's see if that makes things better. But I do think as a initial experiment, this does seem to work. The sorters have evenly collected or pushed the same amount of material into each cargo container. And then, so they're at 1,000. If I take some of that out, it pushes 1,000 again. So I'm guessing the sorters hold 1,000. So, okay. So then what will happen is if I only take, say, let's say I take 300, that should still be above 5%. Oh, I'm full. All right, here we go. 300. Oh, let's take another 200. Oh, is my math wrong? Take 200. There we go. Oh, I guess maybe it was, maybe the stuff that continued flowing in was from the sorter. So again, this is, okay, it went away. I never expected this to be super precise, but it does work if you're okay with a small margin of error. So yeah, so we're still above 5% and below the 1,000. So yeah, it's yeah, it's not precise, but I do think this is what I would call good enough. So let's see if changing it to some sort of refinery has any effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the sorter, train all, and because I'm going to rely on the refineries to pull. The resources. And let's do we'll start with the small ones first. And that small reactor I think should be enough. Let's see, refinery. Yeah, it's plenty. All right, and I don't care about any of this. I don't want them to. Oh wait. Oh no. Haha, right. I gotta turn the event controllers off as well. In addition to the sorters. There we go. All right. Let's get all of this drained. All right, one and no, yeah, we don't need that. We need this and that. All right, so that'll drain refineries. And should also drain the cargo containers. Yep. Good. I don't think that's going to drain what's actually in the refining part of the refineries. So we can doot. Let's see. Ejector. All right, ejector there. Go. Hey, oh my goodness. We're not still filling these things up, are we? Not. Okay.
Fuel critical.
I hate when that happens. Check. Here. Fine. That one. So what's happening is the ejector only actually ejects like periodically, and the refineries are actually pulling the material back into them. I suppose what I could do to fix this so I'm not fighting it. Just throw another sorter. And I don't think I'll need to configure it. I think it's enough that it imposes the one-way flow. Sorter to SOR. Conveyor sorter. Here we go. And we'll do blacklist. Drain all we'll leave off. Don't think I need. Yeah. Okay. And then you put you throw out and collect all. Right. Check. There we go. Okay, yeah. That seemed to work. Alright, let's double check. Cargo. We have our source. And there's nothing else. Alright, great. Okay, so I've now turned off the drain all on the sorters. Yep. Yep. Okay. So now what we can do is we can turn on the event controllers and see if using the refineries to pull the resources works any better. So we'll turn the event controller on, and I need to turn on the sorters as well again. So we'll turn these on to let stuff flow. Alright, so the refineries pulled material. Cargo. Refinery. So it looks like what they did was maybe these are on. Interesting. Okay, so I think what's going on here is the refineries can hold more than the 5% that I assigned. So this is on, it lets it through. The refinery pulls it all into its own inventory. This remains below 5, this stays on. So so does that mean that all the refineries are getting this, like, have the same amount in them? It does look like it. Because it's not like any of them are full, and they're all getting kind of the same amount. So yeah, so this will work. So yeah, it's not exact. I don't say it's not perfect. It's not exact. Like if you are trying to create containers with precisely 5% or whatever. But it is definitely working in that it is evenly distributing the resource to each of these refineries. That's pretty cool. Oh shit! Wait a minute. This might be messing with my. This might be messing with me. Let's turn that off and see what happens now. Cargo. Nothing. Refinery. They all have the same amount, which is well under the 4,000 maximum.
Fuel critical.
And I see he just topped off. He was at like 2,100 something and then jumped up to 2,006. Let's watch it again. So there's 2.3 thousand. It's 2.2 thousand. There's 2,000. Oh, maybe I imagined it. Because I don't see it doing anything. I don't see it popping back up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what day it is. You got to be here for the beginning, which, granted, I don't ever announce. In order to catch my explanation on that. So I do what I can when I can. My goal is Tuesdays, but this week has been surprisingly generous with stream time, so I'm taking advantage of it. All right. Well, that's always fun. Yeah. Okay, so awesome. I love how my regular car service turns from a oh, it's about $150 into a $3,000. Oh, you need all these things. It is what it is, though. Yeah. Anyway, what am I doing? I don't know. Well, what I'm doing is, someone had asked. So, I was talking about this in a stream a while ago. I don't remember the context that came up, but it was basically the idea of like evenly spreading out a resource among multiple like cargo containers or something like that. And I'd come up with the idea of like using sorters and then small like cargo containers as like a cache, and then event controllers to toggle the sorters to let the resources in and out. So this isn't to separate like iron and nickel and silicon, but just like I want iron, and iron, but I only want so much for whatever reason. And I was like, well, I think that'll work, but I don't know how well, right? So anyway, today someone asked about it in my Discord. It was a slightly different context, but my thinking is that it's the same solution. So I figured I would go ahead and just try it, since I do have a little bit of time to stream today, and I was like, well, sure, why not? So yeah, so that's what's going on. So I built the structure, and I've got a dedicated event controller, cargo, kind of like a buffer or a cache, and then a sorter, each of which is set to let iron ore through. That's my test material. And this would theoretically be like everything else that you wanted to go somewhere else. This is just to empty everything out when I'm, want to do a fresh test. I've got the sorter set to allow iron ore through, and then the event controllers are set to toggle the sorter on and off when the cargo fill capacity is above 5%. So, and what it looks like is it works in principle, but it's not terribly precise. Need a return, that I'm going to leave that as an exercise to the reader. When amounts are met, can get locked. I'm not sure what you mean there. I don't know. Yeah, not sure. I know you can jam up like if you stuff the inventories with something, but since these are refineries, I mean, I guess you mean because like I literally don't have like nothing's pulling the ingots out. So if that's what you mean, yeah. This isn't supposed to be a complete like what do you do with it after you process it. This is just like can we make a system that takes a bunch of ore and then evenly distributes it to other stuff? And my first attempt actually didn't have refineries at all. It was just like, can I put even amounts in each cargo container? And I could, but it doesn't adhere to the percentage very closely, because what happens is, like, I set the event controller to monitor the cargo containers at a 5% fill level. And what happens is, with nothing pulling over here, I use drain all on the sorter here, and I guess the sorters hold 1,000. And so what was happening is sorters got turned on and 1,000 got dumped in. 5% of this cargo is like 750. So it did trigger the event controller, which then turned this off, but it just meant that the containers were consistently at 1,000 as opposed to the 750 target. So I think in principle, can you use this method to like disperse things? Yes, absolutely. But for precision, if it's really important to have exactly 5%, you know, for whatever reason, that's less so, because you're limited to basically multiples of whatever the sorters hold. In my world settings, which are default, I think 1x for grid storage, so that would be 1,000 in, you know, multiples of 1,000. So that was the first experiment, and then after that, I was like, okay, what if I turn off the pull, the drain all for the sorter, and instead put something else here that's actually trying to use the material? And I didn't change anything else. And so again, I don't know if the values, like how they're really working, but it does seem to be that each of the refineries has the same amount of stuff in it, even though they're not full. So I think it's working. Like these are all the same, and it's not like they've all just filled up as much as they could. So the numbers are a little fuzzy to me, but it seems like the general idea is sound. Yeah. Swap types of ores. Swap types of ore. Yeah, I think setting the I think instead of monitoring the cargo container, yeah, you could probably set the refineries. You could monitor the refineries as well. Let's try that. And what I'm gonna do, there we go. Go away. I'll do full-size refineries. Just why not? All right, there is. Hey, that works out perfectly. So this should be 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, cool. So we're gonna number this 1. This is again one of those. Well, I know no number is 1 because the rest are 2, 3, 4, and 5. But again, I go back to consistent, correct naming. It's just one less thing to think about, and it makes it that much simpler to figure out your whatever else you're trying to figure out. So let's turn off the event controllers, turn off the sorters, and then I'm going to drain all this. Let's do, say we'll do, actually, I don't think it matters, since go. Select all, throw out. There we go. Vector, you guys. All right, so as soon as they're empty, actually while they're working, I can configure these. So the event controllers So instead of monitoring the fill level on the cargo, we'll set these to monitor the refineries. So we're going to add that and remove that. Cargo filled. Refinery 2, add. Small cargo 2, remove. Refinery 3, add. Small cargo, remove. 4, add. Cargo, remove. See, this is having good names. So I have like almost like integrated like ways to double check. I say refinery 4 is replacing small cargo 4. I don't have to remember anything else. I know 4 it should all be 4, right? So even this, 4, yeah. So everything's good. So it's just a lot of little things. Like none of these is going to make or break anything you're doing, but 5, 5, 5, okay, everything's correct. 5. Remove block. Okay, so let's set these to, let's set them to 35%. Just to try something that is above what the sorter can hold, to see if that matters. All right, 35%. There we go. All right, they're all off. These aren't making noise anymore. They all appear empty. All right, and get rid of that. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm going to turn the event controllers on and the sorters on. I just realized I'm sitting a little back from the microphone, so. All right, here we go. So we're going to turn those on, and then to get it all started, sorters. Oh, they were already on. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, cool. So let's see. Binary. Well, they do all have the same amount. It's not the full amount. So what I wonder is that, do refineries normally pull enough to fill themselves up? Let's turn off the event controllers. We'll leave the sorters all on and see if they just fill up. Because I'm not sure they do. So I'm not sure if I'm actually doing anything useful at all here. So let's just see whenever this gets topped off. Actually, I guess I can force it to. So half of this will be 3,750. %, would be about 22,000. Not 22,000. 2,200 and change. Oh, jump back up.
Fuel critical.
So it went up to about 5,000. That's about 60%. So that looks like it's normal kind of way it works. All right, so let's turn the event controllers back on. And I think I may need to drain these. There we go. Let's get a sorter. And let's shut everything down and wait for it to clear out. Turn off the event controllers, and we're going to turn off the other sorters. Just wait for it to drain. Did it put 12,000 in, then turn off? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna check right now. Because initially it seemed like it was working, but I don't think refineries normally like fill themselves up, like top themselves off. Anyway, that's why I disabled it stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what I have it set to do. The sorters will turn off when the refineries get to the fill amount. Does it count the ore and ingots? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it considers both. That's a good question. So let's see, with that in mind. All right, so the input inventory and the output inventory, 7,500 each. That's 15,000 total, which is the same as a cargo container. Almost exactly. So if I have it set to, if I have the cargo filled to 35%, tell you what, let's do 30% to make the math easy. 30, 30, 30. There we go. So now I just take 10%, multiply by 3. Real easy math. So, everything is empty. Great. Damn, we have drained a lot of that. All right, let's refill this. Iron ore. All right, cool. All right, so here's what I expect. 10% is 750 times 3 is 2,100, 2,250. So just above 2,000. If it looks at both inventories, they'll both be, altogether, they should total about 5,000. If it's looking at both inventories. So let's turn on the event controller. Event controllers here, on, and then sorters. Whoops. Turn these up. Sometimes that happens. I know I said earlier they don't check current state, but EC blocks are they're a little bit unreliable. Okay. Turn on the second sorters. Just talking about 7 sorters. If you mean this, oh, damn it. Damn it. This is just to like figure everything out for the sake of experimenting. So let's turn all this off again. Then sorters. Off. All right, empty yourself out. This is only here so that I can empty like the refineries, and if there's anything in the cargo, just so that each time I want to do a test, like I don't have to account for stuff that's already there. It just makes it easier. One event for each run and one extra event to look at cargo. I mean, it depends how you want to do it. If like I have one event controller, I just set it to look at the refinery instead of the cargo. If you're just looking at cargo fill percent, like if you're testing the same condition, you can check multiple blocks. So, you know, it kind of depends on what's important to you, I think. I don't think just like as a general rule, you necessarily need a dedicated event controller for the refinery and then also for the cargo. Really, the only reason the cargo's here is for because that was the first test. Like if this was a just a pipe, it would be no different, right? Because the event controller is only looking at the refinery. So. Are you not done yet? Jeez. Refinery. Server. All right, that's 4 and 5. Cool. All right, let's try it again. You are off. You have enough? Yeah, you should be good. All right, so we're going to turn on the event controllers, which turned on. So yeah, I said they don't check initial state. And that was just after I placed them, but apparently sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. So you just have to kind of go toggle the thing initially. I don't know. That's annoying, but not as annoying as other the reliability of other blocks. All right, so let's see what they've got in them. So about 5,000 was what I initially expected if it's looking at both inventories, and it does appear to be so, right? It's just under 5,000, so that seems about right. This was probably 5,000 when it first came in, and then it gets smaller as you refine it, obviously. So we'll just keep watching this one. And what I'm thinking is first I'm going to wait to see where it tops off to, and then I'll just go check the sorters to see what they look like, as well as the event controllers. I can look. Well, I can do that. No, I want to wait until this refills to see how much it puts in there. Oh, there we go. So it went back up to 5,000. So this might actually be working then. It's if I went to 5,000, it's got a little bit extra down here. So this looks to me like, again, it's not going to be precise. Like if it's important that it has to be exactly 5,000 or 20%, you're probably not going to be happy. But if you're like, I want it to be about 20%, you know, or about 30%, I think that's going to work for you. Like if the idea is I have all this iron and I've got a bunch of refineries and I want to split it out evenly so it gets processed as fast as possible, I think this will work. It does seem like it. Oh, you're fine, man. Yeah, I am cargo sorter, cargo. I don't understand why you have two sorters in your proposal there. But I am turning on and off the sorters as a gate. Yeah. Let's see what the event controller. So here. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize it would do that. So it is looking at both inputs. The condition is less than 30%. I wonder if we do that. Because this is saying output slot 1, which means it believes the cargo fill percentage is less than 30. Which means it's almost treating this like two separate blocks. Because it should. Because if you have, say, two separate blocks, it's effectively an OR statement. If any of these things satisfy this condition, do output slot 1. And so here, that is what it looks like it's doing. The only reason it should be output slot 1 is this second, the output inventory is less than 30. I think that's what's going on. So it's just left the sorter on so the refinery can keep pulling. So if I do an AND, that didn't seem to change it though. So this looks like it may not be super great. Yeah, maybe I was wrong earlier. Maybe it's not working like even a little bit. It did seem like when I was trying to fill the cargoes though, because those have only a single inventory, it did seem to be evenly distributing it, although it still, again, it wasn't precise in the amount because it was limited to what the multiples of what the sorters could hold, which was 1,000. So you couldn't really do 5%. Or anything that's not an even multiple of the sorter's internal capacity. But it did otherwise seem. I'll say we hit output 2 here. Because they're both above. Yeah, this didn't seem to make a difference. So now, in order to get output 2, when this is not checked, everything in here needs to fail to meet the condition. And here, this fails, and now that fails. So now we get output 2. So it's sort of treating this like two blocks, except it's not respecting this for the sake of treating it like two blocks. So there's some inconsistency there. That's the event controller. But it did turn off the sorter. Yep, they all did. So that is something to think about. So if you wanted to use this in practice, then what I would do is say configure an output sorter for, say, like your processed ingots. So if I said ingots, add whitelist on, and then this will represent whatever else. So this is going to pull the ingots out. So again, it's not perfect because you're kind of working with the game's, you know, it's a discrete simulation. It's not continuous. So it's not going to be perfect, but
Fuel critical.
oh, I see. No, that won't work because so what it's done is it's dropped the output inventory below 30%. So now the event controller thinks that this has been satisfied. I see. So that's actually makes things worse. So I guess the thing to do then is not use the event controller to monitor the refinery and to use it to monitor cargo. So let's try that. Event controller off, sorters off. Oh, no worries, man. No worries. I don't know. Okay, so all right, so let's get this. So, I don't know why I came over here. All right, we'll just add that. These are off, so it's going to drain everything on this side. That's good. What do we have here? We'll top this off. Put some more ore in here. Perfect. And in the meantime, we'll configure stuff. So, if I set the event controller to monitor cargo 1 and not the refinery. 2, not the refinery. 3, not the refinery. 4, and then 5, not the refinery. Okay, so now it's monitoring the fill level of cargo. That's a single inventory, so it's not going to get confused like it did with the refineries. Everything is still off. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. My sorters. Oh. So these are all empty. Okay, good. Sorters. Oh yeah, and they hold 1,000. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, so at this point, we can turn that off. These guys are all empty. Refinery, empty. Okay. Great. Okay, so I'm going to get this prepared. So what I'm thinking, what I'm going to try now is go to the sorter. Going to get rid of ore. Whitelist ingots. All right, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to turn on the sorters and the event controllers. They're going to manage keeping this hopper full at, call it 30%, right? Refineries are going to draw from what they can, and they'll actually, I suspect, try and draw through this. As long as these are on, they'll manage it. So that's, again, it's not super precise. So maybe these will draw their normal amount, and then this will, the excess will go in here, and then these will turn off. I'm not really sure. So I'm not really sure what to expect. What I would like to see, I guess is maybe easier, is these fill to 30%, because that's where these are supposed to be filled up to based on the sorter and event controller. That's trying to keep these at 30%, which means this will be drawing cargo. So what I'd like to see is the refineries kind of hover right around 30%, and then this will drain ingots. So, and yeah, I will turn that on right now. So this will drain the ingots. So the input inventory should remain roughly 30% of total inventory, because that's the same as this. So right around 5,000. And then the output inventory should be generally remain mostly empty, because I'm draining it out like something else is using it. So that's what I'm hoping to see. Let's see what happens. So there's your event controllers are on, and
Fuel critical.
okay, see, in this case it didn't turn on the sorters. So yeah. Anyway, sorters Whitelist iron ore. Yep. Okay. And I guess before we go, less than 30%. Yep. Spot check cargo. All right. So we're going to turn these on. And then we'll turn on the sorters. There we go. All right. So these are empty. The refineries are hovering right around 5,000. Okay. Right around. I know they're going down, so they're not staying at around 5,000. Let's drop this to 20%. Event controllers. Because what I think a confounding factor might be the fact that 30% might be right about where the refineries try and stay anyway. So let's make it noticeably less. So if I go to 20%, all right, so 20% of a cargo is 3,000. So they do have a little bit extra in them. So let's wait until that bleeds down and see if they hover around 3,000. All right. I mean, that's nice to see initially. Let's see if they stay there. Refinery. So they're still going down. Okay, now it's popped back up to 5,000. It shouldn't have done that. It should have only gone back up to 3,000. So I don't think this works. So I think what I said initially, and then it probably sounded very confusing, and I was like, oh, let's figure out what we want to see and see if it does that. It didn't do what I wanted to see. It did kind of the first thing I thought, and that is the event controller's looking at this cargo. Cargo is empty. The sorter stays on. Because the sorter is on, the refinery is free to draw whatever it wants. So it's not like it deposits it here and then to there. So now it may be worth now, like if again, I would just use Izzy's or a script. But again, if you wanted pure vanilla. So now it might work. And maybe this is what you were suggesting originally, I don't know, and I just wasn't there yet on the train of thought. But now maybe a second set of sorters and a second set of event controllers to interrupt this flow. Maybe that is what's needed. So you would have this sorter controls flow into the hopper. The event controller toggles this based on the fill state of the hopper. And then a second sorter basically its duty is to block the refinery from directly accessing here. So maybe it would be enough to just put a sorter completely unconfigured and then just have it toggle. So when the event controller turns this on, turns that one off. And when it turns this one on, it turns that one off. That might be enough. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. It's an interesting idea. Let's get these guys connected. We'll go here, here, and there. And then we'll put one over here as well. All right, so sorter. We're going to turn these off. Event controller. That's what you were saying. Oh, okay, okay. I don't know what you mean by not make it loop, but maybe that'll become clearer to me in a moment. All right, so for now, so I want to get everything emptied out so I can start again. So I'll add the ore back over here. I'm going to add that. Let's get that draining. Those are off. Start our restock our input. Good. Okay. Those are all connected, so we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And so now what I'm thinking is that one. There. Okay. So they're on. That's fine. All right. This is one. Let's come over here. Sorter. All right. These are the ones I just added. Why they're only 4? Did I miss one? Oh, sure did. All right. All right, so these guys are going to be yeah, you know what? Yeah. So it just occurred to me. So basically this is a valve. So another way to make a valve is to use connectors. 2 connectors facing each other, and then connect and disconnect them. I've seen similar methods used. Engineered Coffee, in one of his streams, he used a similar method to make an airlock and connect and disconnect an air tank. So I think that method would work right here as well. I'm going to try with the sorters first because I'm curious if it'll work. So here we go. We're going to call this the valve. Place name. All right, this is item 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, cool. So valves 1, 2, 3, 5, and 4. All right, so the event controller. So event controller 1. Your action, sorter 1 on, sorter 1 off, and then here we're going to do valve 1 off, valve 1 on. So we'll do the opposite. Yeah. Actions here, sorter 2, and then valve 2 off and valve 2 on, right? Yeah, that should be the opposite, right? Number 3, we have 3 on and off. Then we'll do 3 off and on. Here we've got 4 on and off, and then 4 off and on, and then number 5 we have 5 on and off. Whoops. And then we've got 5 off and on. So I have them in the initial state. They need to be opposite. They are opposite. Okay. All the hoppers are empty. And let's double check. The event controllers are monitoring Only the cargo hopper. All right, so the refineries are just they're gonna take whatever they can get.
Fuel critical.
Okay, so let's do this. And now I've set the event controller to monitor for 20%. 20% of this cargo value here is, sorry, this cargo capacity is going to be 3,000, roughly, which is, these hold 1,000. Okay, so I think what I may need to do is change these to collect all, because with nothing here pulling, it may be the case that nothing moves. So if that's the case, then these will probably end up with 4,000 in them each time, because 20% of this is 3,000 plus like 30. It's like 3,100, which means this may get 4 full loads of what these hold. So that'll be 4,000. So again, not precise, but it may work. If your goal is to regulate and distribute things, then 3,000 versus 4,000, 1,000 versus 1,500 is probably not as important as simply getting it all evenly distributed and maybe not filling things up. So in that sense, I think it's going to be all right. And then this, I'll leave this on because this doesn't matter. What's actually in the refineries only matters for the purpose of seeing what's coming in. So yeah, we'll leave this on. This guy, let's just call this the injector sorter. And I'm going to remove ingots. So it'll just drain the output stuff. So now, so what do I want to happen? So I'm going to go with what I want to happen and what I think might happen. What I want to happen is the event controller allows this sorter to put 3,000 ore into here. And when it's above 3,000, it toggles these, blocking more from coming in, turns this on, allowing it to be drawn into the refinery. That sets this back to 0, which will toggle them back. So what I want is that the level in the refinery is kind of maintained roughly around 3,000. But it just occurred to me what might happen is this is on, 3,000 go in, that is off, this turns on, refinery draws 3,000 through, event controller then inserts that off, this is currently empty, this goes on, this pushes another 3,000 in here. This may not be done processing 3,000, and then these get flipped again. At that point, these will draw in the next 3,000 or whatever. So it may not work. So let's turn it on and see what happens. Event controller. On. And then the sorters. Let's turn off the valves first. Turn on the sorters. And then see what happens. Okay. So yeah, there's nothing on this side of the sorter pulling it. So to get it to move, we got to set the sorters to drain all. So now they'll pull resources into them, push it through. You get 3,000. They flip. The refineries drain it. That's pretty awesome. It's off. It's now getting filled. Yeah. So it doesn't really work. The only way it might work, and it doesn't work Yeah, because this doesn't process everything before this refills. So um, you might say, oh, well, you can use a timer, but that's to like set a delay. You can. I don't like relying on timers like that because just doing like dead reckoning with
Fuel
time
critical.
things is not reliable. It's really easy to break. It might be possible if this sorter, if the event controller is set to say keep this at 1,000, which would be the smallest amount, this holds 1,000. If this had say speed modules and could basically, this needs to process all the ore it gets faster than it takes for this sorter to fill this thing up. So maybe with 4 speed modules, if this only got 1,000, it could be done by the time this flip-flopped again. That's disappointing to see that just as is, it doesn't work. Hey, Robert. All right, you step away for just a second while I process this. All right, I am back. Okay, so I think for the purposes of keeping your refineries balanced, this is not going to work. Yeah, maybe a more complex solution might exist out there. Oh, I know. Okay. All right. Well, I was about to give up. I was about to just call it and be like, it doesn't work. It's too much effort. But I got an idea, so I'm going to keep going. Let's shut everything down. Let's see. Actually, that is exactly how I want it. All right. Let's get everything drained. Ejector sorter. Or top off our starting resources. And again, I honestly I would never bother doing this in a proper game. I would just use Izzy's, but or anything else. I'd use a script. But you know, some people for some strange reason like to play on completely vanilla servers that don't even allow scripts. So you know, maybe this approach and a vanilla non-scripted solution would be useful. Mostly I'm just curious if there's any way at all to do it. So now what I'm thinking is, instead of this event controller flip-flopping both of these at the same time, I'll separate it and have a dedicated event controller for the refinery that controls this valve. And I honestly, I think this is way too complex to be even remotely practical. But you've almost, cool. Yeah. So let's do that. Boop.
Fuel critical.
All right. I will put, there we go. All right, there we go. Kill that. And that one. Whoops. Damn it. That one. There we go. All right. And it needs to be on. All right. This is 2, which means this is valve 2. Valve 2. Okay. So let's get these other event controllers named. Let's see. 1. All right. I'm going to name this 1R or refinery. And normally, if this is a true vanilla game, I would actually use something like event controller parenthesis refinery 1. And yeah, I guess I'll go ahead. Lead by example. So this would be refinery. Part of the reason I'm a little reluctant to do that right now is because I have, like, the microphone is in the way of my keyboard, so it's a little bit awkward, but that's fine. All right, that's 2. Refinery, good, okay. 2, yep. All right, 3, yep. There's 3. All right, this is 4. All right, and then this is 5. 5. Okay. So let's come up here. So we're going to set event controller for the refinery. It's going to monitor the cargo. If it's less than or equal, I'll say. So now at this point, the flexible thing is that they don't have to be the same percentage. But I'm going to keep something pretty low. I'm going to say 15% just to see what happens. I don't expect it to stay right at 15%, but I do think this will make it stay low. Lower than like just a refinery that's just hooked up to the conveyor system with nothing else. And that's all I want anyway. Okay, so here we'll do 15%. Oh. If you're less than or equal to, monitor the refinery. All right, so here, whoops. Less than or equal to, oh, I've already got 15%. That's perfect. Refinery 2, add. Number 3, 15%. Less than or equal to, refinery 3, add. Number 4, less than or equal to, 15%. Refinery 4, add. Yep. And then number 5, less than or equal to, 15%. Refinery 5, add. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to toggle these sorters here. So come back again. Then refinery 1 here. And then these are the valves. So we're going to say on and then off. Okay. And then number 2, valve on and off. Okay. Number 3, valve on and off. 4, valve on and off. And then number 5, valve on and off. And then we have to go update these guys so that they don't mess with the valves at all. They only control hopper input. So here. Oh, right, because I deleted that one by accident. Problem solved there. Here, 2, yep. Go away. Move.
Fuel critical.
Remove. 1, okay. 4. These are all still on page 2, so they're right where I need them to be. And then number 5. Okay, so I want to double check. So 1 is sorter 1, 2 is nothing. All right, 2. Sorter 2 is nothing. Okay. 3, sorter 3, page 2 is nothing. 4, sorter 4, page 2 is nothing. And then 5, sorter 5, and page 2 is nothing. Okay. And the reason I double check, even though it's tedious as freaking hell, is because one mistake and everything's fucked. So it's worth taking to double check. It can save you hours of like trying to figure out why is this not doing what I expect it to do. Because you're going to be doing that anyway. So having something that's literally set wrong is not going to help you, and it's going to frustrate. It's going to be very frustrating. So, at least that's been my experience. All right, so everything's off. These are currently empty, and these are off. Those are on. Okay. So all the refineries are empty. Let's check my ejector. Sorter is set for, I just want ingots. Okay. So it's going to throw out whatever these are processing, and we only want to manage the input, and we'll just assume the output's being pulled somewhere else. So at this point, now I do think when I initially turn this on, actually let's do this. If I just turn it on like this, I'm worried that when this is on, if that's already on, the refineries are just going to cheat and top themselves up. It'll then balance out to the way we set it, but I don't want to have to wait for that first. So I'm going to turn off the refinery event controllers, and then I'm going to turn off the valves. So now nothing will throw. So I'll turn on this half of the system first, which is the event controllers that fill the hoppers. I'm going to turn those on, and those are going. And now they're done. So now, and I think that's key. I should probably wait until they're off and then turn on the second half of the system, which is these guys. So I turn those on. Are they smart enough? No. All right. So we got to jump start it. That's fine. So the valves will now turn all of those on. Oop. All right. So now it should be, well, oh, see, no, that's a problem. So it pulled out everything there. It didn't turn these off, though. Did I do something wrong? I did do something wrong. Fuck. I didn't set the event controllers to monitor, did I? No, I did. Okay. Let's shut everything down and figure out if this is a programming error or it just doesn't work. Clear out everything. We'll get this sorter. Get the ore back in there. So I empty it all out. Replenish my inventory. Okay, so what happened? Oh, I don't know. You got it? Oh, nice. So we have one system that is topping off. It's using a sorter that drains to it's not even topping off. It's just maintaining a level inside the cargo container here at 3,000, for example. Then the second system is we have an event controller, toggles this as a valve, and is monitoring the level in the refinery. So how did it come to be that both turned on at the same time?
Fuel
Well,
critical.
let's see. This was empty. So this turned on. It put 3,000 in here. And this turned off. Then I turned these guys all on. I turned that on. And it said, oh, that's empty. So we'll turn this on. And we'll start. And the refinery then pulled out of here. It pulled out of here. But this was not past the threshold that this event controller required in order to turn the valve off. But because the refinery had pulled out of the cargo container, it immediately fell below the threshold that's required to turn this on. So as soon as it started pulling anything out of here, this turned on, which means you now have both sorters open in a direct path to the resources, and the refinery just took whatever the hell it damn wanted. That's what happened. Cool. And I don't know, thinks that he has, believes that he has figured it out. So that is awesome. Because I am of the opinion that, you know what? Apparently it's doable. Well, I mean, if I don't know has a solution, that's awesome. I guess it is doable. But it definitely seems doable with a lot more work than I would ever be willing to put into this. Sending via Discord. All right, cool. Let's see. Did you publish this? Is this something I can pop in right now? All right, let's see if I can pop this in right now. Oops. All right. I have I don't knows. Excuse me. I have his link. Okay. Clicky. Visit. All right, let's log into Steam through the browser. What a nut roll. All right. Steam's complaining because you're accessing through a computer I've never in my life ever once seen before. Which it does every time I try and use the browser. I got my secret code to authenticate who I am. All right, logged into Steam. Subscribe to this bad boy. It's called Free Patrick. Shut all that down. Even can exit Discord. Oh man. All right, here we go. So, Patrick. Oh, here we go. Oh, there's not a lot to it. All right, what do you got here? I used a timer. Okay. All right, what do you got? So you got some power. You got a cargo. Conveyor. Another conveyor. All right, you got your sorter. Oh, I've placed it sideways, I believe. Yep, sure have. There we go. All right. So yeah, power. This is the presumably the input. All right, so you're using stone. All right. So you got conveyor, conveyor, conveyor. You got a sorter. And then this is probably, okay, this is the hopper, another sorter. And then the refinery doing the processing, and then another sorter and a conveyor. I see one event controller only and a timer. I think that timer looks dubious, man. All right, what you got? Timer.
Fuel critical.
Sorter A on. Sorter B off. Okay, so you were doing what I was doing. All right. All right. That is, as a side note, that is what I think is the most acceptable use of a timer. It's not for timing, but as a single reference, basically it's a function. It does a bunch of things so that other things can call that timer to execute all the things, but you only need the one reference. It also means if you delete something that needs to do all that stuff, you only have to reconnect the call to the timer. And that is, I 100% agree with doing things like that. That is normally what I do as well. All right, so your event controller, 1A, monitors fill level equal to or greater than 10%, and it looks at small cargo gate 1, which is this guy. All right. And then what does it do? It turns sorter B on and A off. So it toggles them. Okay. A, B, and drain. Oh, is this okay? I think this is just what this might be what I was doing, is just to empty things out. Ingots. Yeah, okay. So that's not actually part of the system. It's mimicking the whatever would be using the stuff. Okay. Your input. All right, that's just. Oh. Oh, I see what you've done. No way. I'm not sure what. Ah, so this sorter cuts off access to the main source. And then this sorter doesn't do anything. Like, doesn't filter on anything. Okay, so this one is the valve between the hopper and the refinery. I see. Okay. Is that not identical to what I have over here? Yeah, this sorter cuts off access to the main source, and this is the valve between the hopper and the refinery. And then you have a timer. You're not actually timing anything. Good. Glad to see that. And you're just toggling them. No, you're not toggling them. You're turning sorter A on, sorter B off. That's all you're doing. So you're kind of resetting, right? This is A. No, this is A. So turn this on, that off. I guess that's what your button. So that's how you're starting the process. But panel. Yeah, okay. So that's how you start it. Okay, I got you. So then, all right, so setting that aside then, your event controller monitors the gate, what I was calling the hopper. That's all it monitors. It monitors fill level is above the threshold. So that's a difference. I was doing below and you're doing above. Logically, it should be equivalent as long as I turn off what you turn on and you turn off what I turn on. You know, like logically that can be made to work either way. So I don't see a difference there. Your sorters are set to nothing. They're just used to prevent backflow, to manage flow. Okay. Your refinery is here. I gotta be honest, I'm about to turn it on, but I don't see how yours is any different from what I've done. Let's see, your event controller. Now, okay, I see that the level is different. You're set at 10%. I wouldn't have thought that would make a difference. Get back right here. There we go. What is the, let me see what the cargo capacity of the refinery is. Oh, this will work better. 4,000. Oh, okay. So what would I expect? The way this is set up, I would expect this to maintain roughly 1,500. You have this set to drain all. This is also set to drain all. Okay, that is a difference. I didn't do that on my sorter right there. I'll bet you that's it. Right? Because when I first turned it on, it said this is empty, drain all, fill it up to 3,000. And then when I turned this one on, it said this is empty, turn this on. And the refinery, which took its sweet ass time, pulled from here, dropped below the threshold, which then turned this one on. And then the refinery said, oh, I'll just pull from here. And what you have done, you have set this to drain all. That would still cause the same problem. So now I'm thinking the quantity you're using is a lot smaller. But even 10% of a small cargo is more than one load that the sorter can hold. So I almost feel like this would, in order for this to work, that percentage has to be small enough that mathematically it's pulling 1,000 or less. That way, this sorter can completely drain this when it pulls it out over here. But your number is not, it's not small enough, because it would be about 6 or 7% to get this below 1,000. Okay, so if I turn this on, let's see what happens. Boop. All right, so that one's on, that one's off, and now they flip-flop. This is empty. The refinery. So it processes until it's empty. That's still open. I don't know. Small container, cargo fills greater than 10%. It's not working for me. I don't know. Huh. Okay. But seeing that you did a drain all here,
Fuel critical.
does make me think maybe if I set the event controller to monitor for a value so that mathematically it's moving less than what a sorter can hold, maybe that will work. Well, I know I can press the button again. It's supposed to be continuous, though. I don't want to sit here and push the button every time. Okay. Okay, so this is what you meant for it to do. Okay, I got you. So it was like a one cycle. Okay, I got you. All right. Cool. So slight difference then. Yeah, so I'm trying to do something that is like a continuous process. But I got you. Okay. Let me take what I learned from you on this one and see if that'll work over here. So the valves all need to be drained off. So let's turn everything off. Yeah. All right. So the valves, let's set them all to drain all. I think that was important. And then the event controller, I will set I'm going to leave these off because if I'm working with an amount that these guys can like in one gulp like get everything, then I should be able to just flip-flop them like you were doing, like I had initially done. So let's do that. Let's go to the event controller. Set these up. So one is on and off. Then here we'll do the valve is off and on. And then here, valve, this is 2. So we've got 2 is on and off. And then 2 is off and on. 3. All right, so there's 3 on and off. And then 3 off and on. 4. Out. So 4 is on and off. 4 is off and on. And then 5 on and off. And then valve off and on. And then let's set this at 5%. Now I know it's not going to work at 5%, but my thinking is that's going to be below the threshold for what a sorter can hold. And so what will happen is, even though it's at 5%, which should be 750, when it toggles that sorter on, the sorter's going to push 1,000 in. That's fine. It'll then turn it off and turn the other one on, which will drain all, and it'll pull 1,000. At which point, this will flip-flop again, and the refinery will get that 1,000. But we still come back to, if the refinery doesn't process that 1,000 before this flip-flops again, damn, I don't think it's gonna work. Let's turn them on. Let's see what happens. Let's see. We still have crap. All right, let's empty everything out. It's full. So over here, ingots. Hang on. Cargo, small car. Oh, these already have crap in them. Okay. Let's turn all the valves on. Ah! Alright, cool. I see. So on mine, the button would be another vent controller if all the cargo is empty. I see. So, oh,
Fuel critical.
all right. Damn it. I want to pick that up. Away. Oh. All right, sorter. Remove the ore. Okay. So, turn all the valves off. Not even using those. These are on. Yeah. All right. So they get 1,000. Right, and then the refineries are, they're still filling up. Okay. Yes, that didn't work. So so the difference is you just designed it to for like a single cycle. And then the intent is that you use an event controller to monitor when this cargo is empty and restart it. And when you restart it, you turn this on and that off. Okay. So then, let me see what my event controllers do here. So you turn the valve 1 on. Oh, here we go. You turn the sorter on and off. Ah, that's what you're not doing. You're just turning it on because you're doing a single cycle. You're not trying to get it to like self restart. So when it's below the amount, you turn this on so it fills up. And then when it's above the amount, it flops them. So the feeder sorter turns off and the valve sorter turns on, and then it's done. Yeah. And then you'd have another event controller that says, now, you know what? I don't think it's going to work, man. I think you're right. I think you're going to have the same problem I have, right? Because this can be empty before this is done. That's the problem I'm running into, and I think that's going to be the same thing you have over here. So let's try it. So if I say you watch the gate, okay. Event controller. All right, you observe the gate. Cargo gate add. Okay. Now you said when the gate is empty, restart the system. Okay, so if I'm going to say equal or less than 0, and the action is trigger this. Okay. How are we doing on space? All right, we're fine. Resources. I'll put some more in here, and you're working with stone.
Fuel critical.
All right, that should be enough. Yep, perfect. All right, so if I start it, and what am I expecting? I'm not sure what I'm expecting. Refinery. Refinery can hold 4,000. You have set your event controller at 10% of the cargo. So that is 1,562.5. So I'm expecting this to hover around 1,500. I understand. So we'll start it. Boop. Awesome. And it's flip-flopped again. All right. So let's look at the refinery. Yeah. Yeah, you got the same problem I do. Yep. Doesn't work. Yeah, because yeah, you're running exactly what I ran into is yeah, this puts the amount in, and this, even though this pulls all of it out, even if you set, like I had set mine at a low amount so that one load fills it and one load could empty it, this cannot process that load, that 1,000, before this then moves that in again. Or no. Yeah, before the event controller. Yeah, so this is let's see, this starts out empty. You push the button to start. This turns on. Some goes into here. That turns off. This turns on. This pulls this out here, puts it in the refinery, and the cycle is done. But then this event controller monitoring this says, oh, you're empty, start again. So now this is on and putting more in here, and this isn't done processing. Yeah, that's the exact problem I was running into. Yeah. Yeah, they're both on because yeah, they're both on because to restart the cycle, this says, oh, when it's empty, push the start timer. And then the start timer says you on and you off. So there we go. Oh, hey, Arlen. What's going on? There's again, let's see. So now it's empty. And the refinery, it's processing everything. Now we're out of resources. All right, so it could be the case. So I guess one approach would be instead of this extra event controller monitoring a hopper, if it monitored the refinery and said, when you're empty, restart the cycle. That is probably... No, I don't know. I don't think... Yeah, I think no matter what, it comes down to... Yeah, I think with your setup, that will work. If this monitors the refinery instead of the cargo, I think your setup will work. So when your refinery is empty, then it restarts the system. Perfect. Okay. All right, so this is empty. Binary. Small cargo gate. It is filling up. I'm not sure, man. I don't know. I don't know that you think having more than one module will make it... I don't see the logic in that. If one doesn't work, but having two, well, I don't see how that works. But you'll need it if all refineries are empty, so make it Arlen, so it's just a little experiment. It's something I had it come up on another stream at one point, and then someone mentioned today something similar. Is, can you, without scripting, in pure vanilla, can you make a system that basically takes a resource and splits it evenly to an output system? We're using refineries right now. Originally it was like, can you just maintain like a constant level in your cargoes or whatever? And a key element was, we don't want to just stuff everything, right? So the idea was like, oh, can I keep 5 cargoes each at, say, 30% of iron ore, right? If I have like unlimited iron ore over here and I got 5 cargoes, is there a way to make sure that each of these stay at exactly 30%, right? Or if I have refineries attached, can I keep the refineries each at, say, like 30% as opposed to just getting jammed up like over here? And presumably you might want to do that so that you're always processing, say, iron But then, like, if you find some uranium or platinum or something, and you want to get some process right away, you already have space in here. You could drop it in and or reshuffle it, without having to do any additional like shuffling things around. So that's what we're working on, and we've had limited success. Nothing that is, I think, nothing that is terribly good solution. I don't know, maybe onto something over there. I'm not quite following what he's thinking, but it's making sense to him. So he may be able to kind of take it that final step. From what it looked like to me, we were both running into the same problem, and we're basically using sorters as like valves to control the flow of resources, and then event controllers to turn them on and off depending on what resources are where, to maintain those levels.
Critical.
So the closest thing to success I would say I had was when, at the very beginning, when I was like, I want the cargo containers to have a certain amount in them, say 30%, and I was able to get use the event controller to monitor the level in the cargo container, and then that to toggle the sorter on and off, and then set the sorters to collect all or push all or whatever it is, whatever the option is, drain all, right? They hold 1,000, so I couldn't do an exact percentage because like 30% over here it's like it's not an even multiple of what the sorter holds, which is 1,000. But it did work to keep like what I had used. It kept them all right at 3,000, which I consider a reasonable success for an all vanilla solution. And it wasn't complicated. It was the cargo, one event controller, and one sorter for each system that you want. It got messy when we started trying to add like refineries in and trying to manage the inventory in the refineries. Part of that's because they have two inventories. They have an input and an output inventory, and the event controller handles them weird. So we're just messing around with that. Yeah, that's what started it all. Was use the event controller and monitor cargo fill percentage. Yeah. And that in and of itself worked, I think, well enough. Like I would be happy if that's all I wanted to do, and then I had to go a step further, and it all ended in flames. So, yeah. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Solution over there, will work. I'm not seeing what he's seeing, so yeah. So you may have to take it the rest of the way yourself, man. Because it's not clicking for me. It's space engineers, man. That's the whole purpose. Is you make it all messy and complicated. Oh. So let's see. There we go. Yeah. So it just did it here. So this side of the system, I do think is working fine. It's getting it draining out. The problem that I seem to run into, and which seems like what I don't know is run into, but like I said, he seemed to be on track with that, figuring out that, is that once the, like, is basically getting the refinery to pull this resources and process that so it doesn't fill up, right? So then, and so this is just like a valve, turn on and off. But what happens is, let's say this sorter and this event controller are configured to keep 3,000 ore in here, right? And then this is configured somehow to move, to allow ore to get into the refinery, right? The details aren't critical, because what happens is, as soon as this turns on and the refinery pulls even 100 out of here, this drops to 2,900, which means this event controller fires and turns this back on in order to get this back to a 3,000. And then the problem is that now both of these sorters are on, because this one's still trying to fill that one with however much. And with both of them on, the refinery literally just pulls as much as it wants from the main source. And so the problem is making sure these aren't both on at the same time. And I had originally tried to, my initial thought was use the single event controller to toggle these.
Fuel.
Guarantee they were never on at the same time. I forget the details, but that didn't work. So then we went to the 2 event controller system. And yeah, anyway, so just a whole lot of failure, at least on my end today. Just always makes me feel good. Yeah, I don't want to use a timer as a delay, because relying on hard-coded timing, it can cause, like, if you have a sim issue or the server starts weird, like, it's too easy to get out of sync. So, but yes, that could do it, right? And if you wanted to go that far, you could literally, you could probably replace the event controller, both of them entirely, with a timer and just flip-flop both sorters, right? Use a timer set to like 2 seconds, right? And then you get 2 seconds of this thing filling in there, which is probably going to be about 2,000. I'm assuming if this cycle is once a second. And then, yeah, it flip-flops, and then this goes out, or yeah. Yeah, that might work. I was trying to avoid using timers to actually time things, because they can be unreliable in a lot of circumstances. Yeah. This event controller looks at the refinery, and it monitors inventory. Oh, right, that's the problem, is monitoring the inventory, because it looks at both input and output inventories. And what do you do? Valve on, valve off. Okay, so we could do like this. So we did this. Then we turn these guys on. So as long as there's something in the refinery, both in the input or the output inventory, this is going to be off. And so what this will do is it'll trickle feed. So regardless of how much is in here, this is only going to pop on for one cycle for the refinery to pull something. am I completely wrong about that? Hang on. No? Okay, why is it... Did I look at the wrong thing? Refinery 1, Refinery 1, Actions, Valve 1, Valve on, Valve off. When your cargo is less than... Oh, right, so here's part of the weirdness. Because the event controllers look at both inventories on the refinery, it gets like... It looks at the input and the output inventory, so you can't even, like what I just tried to do is like, oh, only when it's empty turn the valve on. Well, if the output inventory is empty, it's going to turn the valve on. So that's what's going on here. I have a sorter to pull out all the ingots that are being made, so every time these are pulled out, boom, it gets, the valve pops on and it gets more input. So yeah, the fact that it's the refineries are just the twist that's causing the complications. What?
Fuel critical.
Harlan, I don't know what that word means. And I'm afraid to ask. I mean, I'm sure it's not bad, but I think if I ask, it's gonna sound bad. All right, let's see here. I don't know if feels that he has solved it. Okay. Did you save it to the same thing, or is it a new blueprint, or or just like you updated the existing one? Oh, you updated it. Oh, great. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Makes it so much easier. Here you go. All right, looks like all the hardware is the same. Okay, timer. Actions. Sorter 1A on and 1B off. All right, that is the same. Okay. And oh, button action. Okay, this is different. Wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, and then trigger the time or start the timer to start. Okay, so that is the same. Okay, cool. There's only one event controller. You're looking at cargo filled. So this is the same, greater than or equal to 10% of the gate storage. That is the same. Okay. And then your actions, 1B on, 1A off. Okay, so when this gets the required amount, this goes, so push the button to start it. That turns this on and that off. The event controller looks at this block. When it has the amount you want, that is off. That is on. Okay, so far this is all the same. Let me check your sorter settings. You still have drain all there, and you still have drain all there. Okay, so I understand. And then 1C for draining. I don't, okay, hang on now. I don't see anything different. Did you, is it not actually the same blueprint? Did I misunderstand that? It's not that one. Oh, okay. It's a different one. Oh, I must have missed it in the Discord. Oop. Ah, here we go. Are these not all the same? Oh, you named them the same, but they're different. Oh, okay. So you're gonna make me log in and re-authenticate, blah 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 blah. Okay. Here we go. Oop. Sign in. Oop. All right, there we go. Close that. Close that. All right, off with you. All right, this was the first one.
Fuel critical.
So we don't need that anymore. So this is the current one. Oh, so you added 3. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, does it need to have all 3 to work? I know you mentioned that earlier. You said add more things. 2, 3. Okay. All right, so we have let's see, what do we, oh, we got some stuff over here this time. All right, so what are we looking at? I see there's another timer now. That is a junction. Yeah, okay. So we still have our 2 valves there, an event controller and a timer, the gate cargo, and then just the thing that's using the material we make. Okay. It's our raw resource, and now we have this event controller over here. What do you do? Constant. You look at the refineries and monitor cargo. Less than or equal to the refineries. And what do? You restart it. Master. Okay, hang on. Timer. Master. Oh, is that? Which one? Where's the master timer? Is that? Okay, that's probably this one. Okay. All right, what do? You're the master. Oh, you just trigger those. Okay. Okay, so what you've done is now the same as what I did. You're looking at the refinery, and when it's empty, you're going to restart the system. So you're going to have the same problem, right? As soon, because the refinery has 2 inventories, right? It's got 2 inventories. So this is going to have stone in it, and this is going to have the iron and whatever else, or the iron, the silicon, and the nickel. As soon as these are pulled out by this side, the consumer, that event timer is going to say the refinery is empty. Start. Granted, You're looking at all three, so you're waiting for all three to be empty. But you don't have this check, which means as soon as any one of these is empty, it's going to restart the system. But each one has the two inventories. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, man. Does this work? How do we... All right, which button starts it? This one? Master start. Boop. You're sitting in a Discord lobby by yourself. Oh, you forgot the AND gate. Yeah, okay. So I still think it's not going to work because I tried this earlier. The AND gate, it ANDs for the result for the block, but it's not smart enough to do the AND for both of the inputs. So even with the AND gate checked, if the input inventory is full of stone and the output inventory is empty, that's going to read as we're at 0%, right? It's going to meet the requirement. So this is just going to wait until what you've established is a race condition, right? So it looks like it's working because as long as none of the outputs are empty at the same time, it looks like it's working, but it's not. Right, the sorter pulls all out the refinery. Right. Yeah, but as soon as the output is empty, that's gonna fire. All right. Boop. All right, so we've got, this is full. That's on, that's off. This is empty. This is on. All right, hang on. It doesn't seem like it started. Did I push the wrong button? This is a single button. All right. Boop, 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 boop. It's already on. Empty. 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 Yeah. And then we have red and green, red and green. All right. And then you're full. Full. And full. No, I didn't break it. It's defective. You have the same problem I ran into. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. This shouldn't be necessary, right? I shouldn't have to have two other systems. It's not gonna work. So you got one refinery you're looking at. Why does it think it's on a separate grid? Did I break it? No, it's not broken. I don't know why it's being stupid. What's the other button? The master. I did. Oh, I didn't. Oh, you're right. I did. Oh, balls. All right. Boop. What is this button supposed to do? Master start. Master start. Ah, see? Naming's important. All right, so this is on. Okay. On. Green. Full. Off. Off. Green. Oh, that's why the car goes full? Oh, I see. Okay. Oop. Oop. Oh. filling up right away. All right. Um, it was working. Yeah. Typical developer. Well, it worked on my machine. All right. Master. Boop. Okay. All right, looks good so far. So you got 2,000, 1,000, 0. Okay. And then here, and you're pushed over to here. All right, boop. So this is just always on to drain. Okay. Here, okay. So curious. Action slot 2. You don't have one. That's interesting, because that did not work for me before. Oh. Interesting. So it does appear to be respecting the and for both of these. No, it's not. It did it first. For a second, it seemed like it was. But now the refinery input is full. Here, empty.
Fuel critical.
All right, so you're using up your content, the material. Okay. Oh, okay, right, yeah. So it does seem to. So that's weird because when I tried that, it didn't. As soon as this inventory hit 0, the event controller fired. The event controller that cared about the inventory being empty said, one of your inventories is empty, good enough for me. And when I tried turning on the AND gate to require both to be empty, like yours is doing now, that's what I wanted. Yeah, so you put some in, and then it flips. That's exactly what I was trying to do. And see how you hit 0 here? On mine, the event controller was firing again, even after I toggled this. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So yours is working. It gets it all done. And then it goes to 1 again to put more in. Very cool. All right. I feel like that's unfair though, because it's working for you. That exact same thing did not work for me. So let's do refinery. We'll turn all these. So if I turn them, can I do this in bulk now? So I know it's not set right now. The AND switch is not set right now. But I had tried it earlier. And it didn't work. So we'll do this. So now it should not fire. Valve on, valve off. Yeah, it looks like it's working correctly, but Interesting. I'm curious when I go back and review if I just missed something, or if this is one of those cases where I mentioned earlier. I don't know how explicit I was about it, but the event controller doesn't always check state the right way. It's not. There's an element of unreliability about it. So. Okay, so what I'm expecting is when both of these hit 0, it's going to fire action slot 1, which turn this on, and then when it gets stuff in there, it'll turn off again. But if that works consistently, and I just made a mistake earlier and was very consistent about not seeing that mistake, if that's the case, then none of this stuff is required. All you need is the sorter and the event controller to turn the sorter on and off based on the fill level of the refinery. None of this other stuff is required if that actually works. Event. Oh well. 6.5. All right, so it's making the stuff, it's draining it. I bet it's gonna work now. Oh, I blinked and I missed it. 10, 20. Oh no, it's filling up. 30. What is that? None of them. Yeah.
Fuel critical.
All right, let's do this. Just put a platform down so nothing gets disconnected. That's interesting. All right, that's all connected. Right, so we can do that. All right. And then hit here. Nope, wrong button. There we go. All right, this is 1, valve 1. So this will be 1. This will be 2. This will be 3. Ah, killing me. There we go. 4. And 5. All right. I'll just do the 1. There's no need to do it all 5 times. So we're looking at 1. We're going to say 0. We're going to say less than, cargo filled, refinery 1, add to monitor that. We're going to set the AND gate on. And then the action is going to be valve. We're going to turn that on or off. So, like, if the event controller consistently monitors both inventories, and the AND gate is applied correctly, consistently. There we go. It turns it on. So it pulls some stone, pops it back off again. So that's all that's necessary. Like, if that's... Yeah. Now, this doesn't... I guess now the thing is, this doesn't give you control over how much is in here. Although, to be honest, I don't really think any of that seemed to be working very well. But it does ensure that the refineries are kind of always have space available. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, so we could do that. Interesting. Yeah. So it kind of morphed. So I guess so the original idea that I started with was, can we get the resources split into different, like, cargo? And you can do that with sorters. It's not terribly precise, but it does work. But then if you want to like load balance your refineries or whatever, you can do that with event controllers and sorters as well. Can you do it with anything other than 0? It might work. If I set this to 10%, so it sort of works. So we're at 14, 13, we're at 12. So I'm expecting once this is below 10, this is also below 10, it'll flip to output 1. Yep, and then it pulls in, boom, yeah. So you're not regulating the input, so it's popped all the way up to 30% there. But it is being regulated, right, at something less than max or near max. So if you back off the precise requirements of, I want all my refineries to have exactly or roughly 20%, you know, that's not really going to work. That's not going to work at all. But if you say, I want my refineries to have a low level, so they always have room for me to you know, add stuff in, that does seem to be working. Yeah. So interesting results. Very interesting results. Is it balanced? Here's some logic. Sorter in refinery is 1,000 per second. The output if 500 ingot per second, so it's less than the input per second. I'm not really following what you're trying to tell me. But I'm going to say whatever it is, that's probably, I think there's a flaw because you've only looked at input output and not processing time. That's probably a factor. I know that was a factor in some of the other, my earlier attempts that weren't working. And since you're looking at input and output rates, I'm going to guess that processing rate, since you're not accounting for it in what you said, means whatever you're saying is probably has a flaw in it. Ingots out is 500, sorter in is 1,000. I still don't understand what you're getting at. let's see. Let's set up the others. I did get that at one point you were asking, okay, is it balanced? So what I think you mean is like, are the refinery is kind of load balanced? So I do think it will be roughly. There'll be some fluctuation. It will not be exact, but it does seem to be that it will be roughly load balanced. So wait, this will be on, this will be off, and we'll do, I'm going to do 10% less than, right? 3 will be 10% and less than. Binary 3. Yep. And then the action valve 3 on and off. And then item 4, we're going to do valve 4 on, valve 4 off. We're going to do less than 10% and binary 4. And then binary 5, action is valve 5 on, valve 5 off, cargo filled less than 10%, binary 5 is what you're monitoring. There you go. All right. So, refineries. That is pretty high. That's basically full. So is that. Oh, and and see now here's what I was saying earlier, right? It doesn't respect the AND gate. This is 0, so it's going to action slot 1. Maybe it needs to be turned off, then on again. 2, 2, 1. See, these are configured identically. This is what I ran into earlier. This is an inconsistency in the block's behavior. Who sucks? All right, let's try. So they're all off. But you're full. Vent
Fuel
3.
critical.
All right, let's try this. Binary, we're going to shut them down. Vents, we're going to shut them down. Sorters. Oh, right, valve. All right, we're going to shut them down. We're going to clear everything out, and we're going to start again. All right, here we go. Okay, I think the refineries need to be on for their conveyor systems to work. Turn those on. Everything else is off. Yep. Fill this up. Should be good. Oh, right. Let's get sorter here. Can add or no. There we go. All right. So once these are empty, I'll turn them on. Turn on the event controllers, and we can go again. Right. I understand that the AND gate is for monitoring more than one item. The tricky part, the thing that seems to be the wrench, is that there's one refinery, but refineries have 2 inventories, right? So that's what I was saying before. Like, it doesn't seem to be like on the one, like it's weird. It's like it's considering both inventories for the purpose of is the condition met, but it's not considering them both for like the purpose of the AND gate. So if the condition is less than 10%, then it's like an OR gate. It's saying, well, one of your inventories is less than 10%. It's not saying is the entire block less than 10%, right? So then it's doing the thing. If you turn on the AND gate, it's not saying are both of them, right? So it's like it's only considering the AND gate in certain conditions. So it's I think because the refinery is it's one block, but with two inventories, right? It's the event controller is just not handling it correctly, right? It's not handling it consistently. And before, with your system where you had multiple parallel systems and that main event controller was monitoring multiple refineries, and you had the AND gate on, but it still comes down to, can the event controller like correctly read a single refinery as empty or not? Like when it says the refinery is empty, is it completely empty, or is only one of its inventories empty? Because it seems like half the time it only matters as if one of the inventories is empty. I don't think it's only related to the block list. That's what I'm getting at, is I don't think that's correct all the time. Because here, even if I turn this off, so my condition is at less than 10% fire slot 1, right? If I turn this off, neither's less than 10. So this is right now it's doing what I want, right? It's not less than 10%, so it's firing slot 2. But when I first tried it, it's also off. It's also off. So when I first tried it, do that. It wasn't doing this. It was firing slot 1, even though this first inventory was above the threshold that I wanted it to be below. See? Okay, so no, this is still working. That's what I want. So why is it not? See, now it should be slot 2 because it's well above 10%. So this is what I'm getting at. This is the inconsistency. That input is at 90%. It should not be open, right? The block's inventory is not below 10% right now. But it's seeing, I think it's seeing the second inventory below 10%. So when it reads it, for some situations, it's seeing these individually and saying, oh, well, this one's below 10%, so fire action 1. And the AND only works on blocks, like you said. So it's not enough to say, oh, no, you have to, both of the inventories have to be below 10% or whatever. You know? Let's try that. I think this is definitely an edge case in how the yeah, I think this is an edge case for the event controller, and I know there are more than a few. It's a block that does a lot, so and I know there's lots of things that it doesn't do exactly correct. Hey, what's up, Krator? Yeah, we do have the whole gang in here. Yeah. Yeah. That sucks. That does suck. Because this was literally working a second ago, right? I didn't do anything. Oh, shit. I guess I should come over here and remove the ore. Or ingots. All right, there we go. Let's fill that up. La, 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 la. All right, it's pumping out those things. Slot 1, so that's on. You're doing the wrong thing. What about you guys? See, now these guys... Oh, they're all off. Okay. I was going to say, look, they're behaving. Let's turn them on. See what happens. Yeah, see... This one actually is behaving. It's above 10. One inventory is above 10%, so it should be slot 2. That is what we want, right? But it's not consistent. Yeah, this is a great example. Wait a minute. Yeah, they're both set less than or equal to 10%. They're both inventories. The input is full and the output is empty. One's firing slot 1 and the other's firing slot 2. They're both set to monitor only their block. And they both have the AND gate on. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I think it could be done. Right? I think we got close enough to say that it could be done to varying, like to a degree. I think good enough. It could be done. You could distribute your ores, kind of load balance your ore to either cargo or to refinery. But if you're going to work with refineries, this bug needs to be fixed. Yeah, it works on my machine. I know. Yeah. And then, you know, the nice thing is that actually, like, if all you want to do is load balance your refinery, again, assuming the bug is fixed, the configuration's really simple, right? It's just the event controller and then your valve. So, you know, so that's cool. Like before, it was getting really complicated. I was like, there's no way I'd ever build something like this. But this is practical, right? A single event controller, single sorter. Yeah, you know, that's no big deal. Awesome. All right, well, I don't know if I would say that was fun, but that was a thing. I don't know. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate you taking a crack at it as well. I feel like we got really close. I think there's a bug in the event controller. I think either one of us would have accomplished the goal. Probably, let's see. Stream's 3 hours and 26 minutes long, so probably 3 hours ago.
Critical.
But I think that bug is the issue. Are you guys still? Yeah, you're still acting up. Look at that garbage. Look at that. Shameful. All right. Now, it's a complex block. Lots of edge cases. I know they're still discovering them. So, anyway, goodbye. I don't want to dirty my monitor with that anymore. So, yeah. So I've got about 30 minutes left. What should I do? I was thinking maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking maybe build a vector thrust thingy. Maybe I'll build I haven't built a big vector thrust thing in a while. Let's build a big one. I usually build small grid. Let's do that. All right. And we're going to do, let's do a hydrogen powered large grid vector thrust. That is a mouthful. Let's do that. All right. Hmm. So it's an interesting shape. I like it. Really? That's not what I wanted. Good grief. All right, we'll do that. This. And let's see. We'll do here. There we go. And let's see. Just for now, I'm just going to use armor. Retrofitting windows is not a big deal, so it's fine. Boop, 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 boop. You. Alright, so we got you. Alright, there we go. That is the body. Boy, that is huge considering how little space is in here. But, alright, that's fine. Alright, and, you know, for a challenge, let's also make it jump capable. So we're going to need... It's here. I don't even know if I've got it out here. I don't. Okay. So we're going to make it jump capable. There we go. We need that. Oop. Bam. Awesome. All right. We're going to need... we're going to need some fuel. All right. And let's do... Oh, wrong one. There we go.
Fuel critical.
All right. I'll just do that for now. All right, so now the fuel can get to the thrusters. That's fantastic. We'll put, let's do this. Not the prettiest, but I'm just kind of playing with shapes right now. Whoops. Goodness. There we go. Yeah, that's horrible. All right, moving on. We are going to need... Let's do that. Then we'll do this. This one. Boop. All right, so that gives us here. All right, that's fine. And then we can do, let's do that. Now, let's do, doing that. All right. Yeah, big ones. Awesome. Do that. And something like this. Actually, yeah. Why not? All right, so we're going to do straight. So we'll need a junction. Here. And a junction. All right. All right, and then we want that way. Hey, stop moving. All right, I'll admit that's actually cooler looking than I really thought I was going to end up with. So I'm happy about that. All right, there we go. That one and there. Actually, that is a lot cooler than I thought it was going to look. Well, I like that. All right. Let's see. We can turn that one off. Actually, no. It's fine as it is. All right, so there is the basis. You know what would really cool, look really cool is pipes. So let's put some pipes on. Do this. Boom. 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 I was never into like drag racing or race car, like drag racing cars or the sort of cars where you see like they have the big pipes on them and all that. So I don't really know where this fascination of mine comes from. They sure do look good. All right, let's try this, and then this will be an X. I don't know that's not necessary. They're already getting fuel through there. I think it looks good. It's a little bit of redundancy, so that's always nice. Put it here. Go to this guy. And back to here. Boom and boom. Let's see, we'll do that. Then we'll do that.
Fuel critical.
Let's try this. Go to here. And here. And then... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that works. Boom. And then we'll just put a little one here in the middle. Spin that however we want. All right, cool. It's a little bit more heavily engineered than I normally prefer them to look, but I think it's all right. Put these little guys down here. And if I'm just going to go and justify things because aesthetics, then I'm going to go the full 9. Yeah. So now it's triply redundant. Happy about that. There we go. Alright. This stuff sucks. Let's get rid of that. Maybe it just needs to be exposed. I mean, that is kind of in the vein. We might need some little wings or something. What are... Let's see. You. And then you. Let's see what it does. Here. It's no good. I don't like it. We're going to come back to that. Okay. So we're going to need some gyros. Vector thrust vehicles always need lots of gyros. Beep. Oop. I will put them here. 6. That's a good amount. And let's go with antenna. I don't think I have... No, I don't have beacon. Okay, so... put it here. Or rather, this guy. There we go. Cool. Alright, let's see. I think here and here should be windows. Oops. There we go. Put windows there. Maybe here and here. Don't know about putting any windows under here. Alright, that's cool. Alright, and I don't have windows on my hotbar anywhere, so... Whoops. Let's drop down these guys. Oh, no. No. Why use those when you can use these? Which looks so much better. Oh yeah. There we go. Kind of feel like it does need something. It's got to fit an airlock in here somewhere. Sure where. Back. These guys will definitely be there. I don't think we have a bridge block that fits this. Wait, we do, but I don't know if it works. Let's see. We've got... There it is. There we go. Oh, I need the one without the floor. There we go. Yeah. That is cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Alright, yeah, this has to go. This is awful. Okay. Big feet. Really love these. I just never have anything that's really big enough to make them work. Alright, we'll just do these. There. And... what if we do... Oh my goodness. Hey, quit toying my emotions. There we go. Do that one. That one. in there. Okay. And would it look good to go up top the same way? I don't think so. I'm gonna try it. Of course, that means these don't work anymore. I could put the same thing. Put them here. So. All right. Over here, let's do cover these. Actually, let's do Gibson style. There we go. 2. There we go. I love it. Okay. All right, put that in the center. And I kind of feel like 1, 2, 3. Putting the airlock like in the center of the floor seems kind of neat. Here. I've lost my airlocks. There they are. That's where I push that button. All right. Here we go. Let's do... All right. If I put a stairwell there, it's going to be hard to get from this door onto the stairwell in anything other than normal gravity. Especially in 0G. So how do we get in? Do we get in? Six. All right. So we get in here. That is still way up off the ground. Get in there. Goodbye. Whoops. Whoops. Let's try that again. Nothing important was damaged. We do have to relocate now, though. All right. Let's see. Doot. Alrighty, that's good enough.
Fuel critical.
Can run it through build and repair or something. Done. Oh, not too worried about it. So we'll do here, there, again. That back on. There. There. Alright. So, oh, I lost my front landing gear. That's fine. Maybe I don't need it there. This is nice. I like this. This seems like the place you'd want to stand and just look. All right, so we'll do that. And I kind of feel like I want a medical room in here. I think I've got that on the hotbar either. No, I don't. Oh no, no, Arlen. No, I'm not. Oops. Oh my goodness. Sorry, kitty. I'm not going to do it without a script. No, that's a route to madness. Uh, yeah, I'll be throwing the script in here. I just hadn't got that far yet. Medical room. Here we go. All right. Let's put it. Yeah, we'll put it over here. So when you come alive, you're like, ah, the outside. Nice. And over here, I don't know. Let's see. I do need. Oop. Oop. Okay, yeah. Oop. Oh. All right, we can drop this one down. Perfect. Yes. So we'll do this. Make it a T. We're going to make this. All right, this will be an elbow. Or will it be? Oh, you know what? Yeah. All right, so we need a straight. We're going to do the, you know what? No, it's going to be that way. And then a C. Okay, I need the, oh, it won't matter. Yeah, either way is fine. Okay, so there's that. We're going to seal that up. All right, and now in here is airtight. Yeah. And I need some air vents. So let's put them under here. We'll do normal air vents, but we'll do full size. There we go. I'm going to do 2. 2 is cool. Some more T's. Boom. Let's see. Oh, I managed to forget power. That's cool. Let's get our missing gyro. Where can I slap power? Well, we put them here. Put 4 batteries right here. Let's try that. Here, here. And then I feel like we need something to sort of make it look like they're connected.
Fuel.
All right, there we go. Cool. And then we can do this one. Yeah, I think that works. Bring this back maybe. We do like a reverse spine on the bottom of the thing. That would be called. I don't really like these. All right, so if my medical room is there, 2 air vents are there. Oh, that worked out. This probably needs to be solid. Let's see if I spawned and I want to leave the ship immediately. I want to go this way. So let's put stairs right here. Alright, I'm just going to go with this square one. I'm most comfortable with using that. So we'll put you here. Oh, that's... Alright, we'll put a one of these guys right there. Alright, this will be a panel. There we go. Right there. Oh, these suck to get through in space, huh? Okay. Not too bad when you walk through them. Good to know. Then let's see. Can I make... Can we make this into some sort of landing gear? I feel like maybe. Let's do... Guess let's start with an I-beam. Then we'll put this guy. Then we'll put here. We could do that. I don't really like that. How about just drop a triangle? Do like that. I'm not really super jazzed about this, but it's functional. Then we can put one of these guys. These are good for above stairs. There we go. Boop. All right. Oh, this seems like an OSHA violation right here. We don't have a U-shaped. Oh, we don't. All right, it's fine. Whoops. All right, we'll just do like that. That. And that. There we go. All right. So I got my vents over there. So let's put maybe the computer right there. This will be the VTOL program here. ET and West. Let's get that loaded. E vector.
Fuel critical.
Go. Right. Alright, let's go through here. VTOS. So get tags that are nice. Change the power level so there's only two. Set these two false. Here. Here. Don't want it to do anything else. Balls. Balls. Ah, and then we can do that. And then apply tags. Applicably rags. Alright, cool. Run that. Let's run the actual command. Alright. Voters here. TOS. Advanced voter. Place name. Pop those up to keep that crap from happening. There we go. Bunch of gyros. All right, cool. All right, the batteries died because of the jump drive. So we'll fix that.
Fuel critical.
Great. Lights on. All right, I made no way for it to dock with anything. That's an oversight. That is interesting how it's moving. That's a new one to me. Maybe we should do this. And then there. Sure. There we go. It'll work for now. All right, let's put some gas in here. See what happens. Hydrogen pod. Go. There we go. All right. Tanks. All you guys. Stockpile. I don't know why these things are spinning. Weird. I suppose if this actually came out the back, it would look better. It would look kind of streamlined. Oh, these doors suck. All right, they look great. They are now fun. Okay, you guys done? You done? All right. Wait. That should be enough. Tanks. All right, O2, H2, tanks. No, right now there are no oxygen tanks. There will be. Alright, groups. No, that'll be there. This will be there. The computer be probably here. Run here. Bottle. Let's see, thrusters.